Hey, this watch can tell you time in a triangular way. Are you curious? Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is Chris. I hope you're doing good. Today I want to bring up to your attention a special watch. It's a concept that I've never seen before. It is something totally new, and I'm going to explain you a little bit better how that works. Before I do that though, I want to tell you a few things about the company that makes this watch. This is a Swiss company. They're around 40 minutes away from where my studio is, so it is really cool. And the name of this company is Baillot. They also call themselves BA111 OD or BA111 OD. There's different ways of calling this company. Now, the name is actually the last name of its founder, but you can see that they like to play with these things. And this is one of the things I appreciate about this specific company. Why is it called Delta? Simply because the Greek letter delta is shaped as a triangle. Now they have different chapters, as they call them, which is basically collections, different collections. They have chronographs, they have tourbillon, they have classic mechanical watches, and so forth. Let's now dive into the review, and the first thing we're going to go over is the movement. It has an automatic Swiss-made movement, the Baillot manufacturer module 09310. I'll tell you more about that little inscription here where it says module 09310. There's something very interesting about that. It is a hypercycloid time reading, as you can see on the hour hand here. Basically, it is just the hand going around like so, as if it was going in the shape of a triangle, and it's basically spinning on itself on an other axis that makes it go that way. And I mean, that is very, very fun to look at. The base is a Soprod M100 manufactured in Switzerland, and it has a bidirectional rotor that you can see right here. A quick note on Soprod, the components are local, 100% local. They come from places like Grussy, Le Sentier, Mèche, Muriot, Seigneur-Légier, and Sion. And those are cities and places that are not farther than 1 hour from where my studio is. So I'm very, very lucky in that regard. And it is great to know that this is 100% Swiss. Next up, we have the case. It has a 44 millimeters stainless steel anti-allergic transparent case back. I think it's clever that they put a see-through case back, and the reason is that, well, it is the heart of the watch, and when you look at the front, you won't see much movement happening because there's no second hands, right? So you might think that it's a little static, but at the same time, it adds to the design to not have something moving around too much, and it makes it much more enjoyable to look at. So having this case open at the back is really, really nice, and you can really see the mechanical parts moving inside, which is a great addition. You can see on the rotor, by the way, it says Baillot, so it's all tailor-made, and you can really see the heart here beating of this watch. Now, is 44 millimeters too big, especially if you have small wrists? I think 44 millimeters is not too big, especially for small wrists. Obviously, if you have a bigger wrist, it's okay. But I have a small wrist. It's around 18 centimeters or less, so it's very tiny. I have the settings on this band to the minimum. But even like that, I think that it looks really good. It has a nice presence on the wrist. In fact, I'm going to put it real quick on my wrist to show you how it looks. Here you go. So that's how it looks when you have it on your wrist. You see, it is still a big case. I mean, we're talking 44, but you can't really go smaller than this in terms of wrist size. And overall, I don't dislike the presence it has on the wrist, the fact that it goes all the way to the edge of the display. There's no bezel, basically, which makes it a little bit more enjoyable, even with a small wrist. So that is not going to be an issue if you're considering getting this and your wrist is small. Last but not least, the lug-to-lug is 50 millimeters roughly, so it goes along with the fact that it is a 44 millimeters watch. Let's now go over the dial, which is one of the most important parts, the heart and the soul of this specific model. The dial is a satin matte steel with multiple levels and laser engraving. In fact, you can see it, for example, here on this side of the watch here, when I move with the light, you can see that it gives beautiful little reflections and lines. That looks just very, very gorgeous. Now, it's harder to show you here in the studio, but when you're outdoor in bright sunlight or just daylight, you can really see those complexions and things moving, which is really cool. There is a faceted triangle in polished steel at the center of the dial. You can see the hour ball here is red. Now, you can find this in different colors. There's red, green, yellow, blue, or white. Keep in mind that white and green are special editions, but I personally chose red because I'm a pro photographer and I love shooting with Leica cameras. So that's a little nod to that. Remember earlier I told you that I was going to tell you more about this module 09310. I'm going to try to show you. It's up here, right here. You see it says module right there, 09310. And the reason this is there is simply because they pay tribute to Diego Butger Zevallos. I hope I said the name correctly. I'm sorry if I didn't. And basically, it is the original designer of this movement. And that is why the module is called 09310. And that's why there's this inscription up here on the top right, because it offers a nod to him, since we can guess his name reading this backwards. As I mentioned earlier, there's no second hands. There's only an hour and a minute's hand. At first, I was a little bit bummed out by that because I really like to be precise with my watches and know exactly the second we're living. But that said, I kind of like the fact that there is not too much movement on this watch and not too much going on, because it can get very overwhelming to have too much going on at the same time. But I think the fact that it stays very simplified and is just an hour hand and a minute hand are moving around the dial makes it very, very easy to read and just, simple enough. There is a date at 2 o'clock that we can kind of see down there. Now, this is layered down, so it is very, very unobtrusive, I would say. You barely see it. You see it if you know it. If you know it's there, you know it's there. Otherwise, it's hard to tell that there is a date on this watch, which again, I don't dislike as a simplified, streamlined function that you still have on your watch. They applied Superluminova lume on the hands. Now, the minutes hand is a standard one. The hours little dot though, that one lights up to in a white tint or color, which is a little different than the minutes hand, which again is a little detail that makes a difference. I'm going to show you now how it looks in the dark. Let's now explore the glass of the watch. It has something special that you'll find out in a few moments. It has a slightly domed sapphire crystal on both sides with anti-reflective treatment, but it is still quite reflective nevertheless. So, I mean, you can see here in the studio, I'm trying to have as little reflections as possible, but you can see the light over there reflecting and anything. The camera, you can probably see my face. Yeah, here we go. Hi. So just know that there is going to be some reflections. You tend to get used to that. I have other watches that are also very reflective, so I don't really mind it. But yeah, just keep that in mind. One thing about the glass is that it's prone to fingerprints. In fact, I'm using gloves to avoid having fingerprints all over this dial and to be able to show you the glass without fingerprints. The NFC, near field communication technology, is a technology that you guys use a lot. Like for example, when you tap your card on the card reader to pay something, you're using that technology. Or you know those cards, business cards that you can just tap on the phone and something pops up, a link, and you could just press on it. Well, this is no exception. This is how it works. There is actually an NFC chip within the glass, which is by itself an amazing addition. And what you can do is you can simply just tap on your phone with it and it will pop a link that you can open. What is that for? That might be a question you ask yourselves. Why is there NFC on a watch? What's the purpose of it? Well, simply because they have this program called the Affluenders program or system, where basically every person that owns a watch becomes a person that will influence or that will advise someone else to buy a watch, which is great. It's the best marketing. You take the person that loves your product and they will promote it for you. And what you get in exchange by doing that is points, brownie points, and those points can be used to get a watch or to get goodies or to get things, or they give you rewards with that. And that is actually really, really cool. So all you have to do is literally tap this on a phone of someone that opens the link. They set it up for you when you buy it. They literally call you and they set up this NFC link so that it says your name once you have obviously an account on their Bayo app. So all you have to do is download the app, create an account, and off you go. And when someone's gonna go on that store, it will say your name. Now, obviously, you are not taking care of all the financial transactions and so forth. That's obviously being done by Bayo, but you are the one who advised that person to buy the watch, so you get credits for it. Let's now take a look at the crown. The crown is placed at 4 o'clock with the Bayo logo engraved on it. It looks good. I like that because it almost looks like an exit point for the triangle. You see it ends with the triangle here, and that looks very neat. The placement is a little bit like the Tudor Black Bay P01. That's a model that I like a lot, specifically and mainly because of the crown being at 4 o'clock. So bringing that to this watch, it's only an enjoyable feature for me. Let's talk about the strap and let's see how comfortable it is. The strap is made of rubber. We can see it here. It has the logo over here as well as the logo over here on the back of it. So that is great. One thing is you have a way to put a couple pins here that will allow you to set the size of your watch. Now you can see that I have it on the lowest setting because, as I told you, I have a very tiny wrist. A thing that I noticed that the strap goes under here. Maybe it would be good in the future. That's something I personally think, to have maybe two sizes for this specific size of this strap. So you can have a side that's smaller, a side that is larger, and that would avoid having extra going underneath on your wrist. Other than that, the clip-on system is very easy. There you go. This is closed, very secure, and it is actually quite comfortable. I've been wearing this for many hours. It is now summer here in Switzerland and everywhere else in the world, and it is really, really hot and sweaty overall. So I did not have a problem having this on my wrist for many hours, and it was actually quite comfortable. The weight of it is nice too. It is not too heavy, it is not too light, it is just right. And yeah, you can see it's not too thick either. So overall, very, very nice fit with this strap made of rubber. It also gives a little bit of a sporty look to the watch rather than just having a classic look, because this is a classic timepiece. It is mechanical. There's a lot of things going on, and it is a really haute horlogerie type of timepiece. So having something that makes it a little bit more sporty marries and goes very well with the actual design of the watch itself. Let's take a quick look at the power reserve. The power reserve can hold up to 42 hours. 42 hours is not even 2 days, so it's not a long time, but it is enough to get you through if you're not going to sleep with your watch, or you're going to leave it at home for 1 day, you're going to swap with some other model or whatnot, you can do so. Now, I would highly suggest for you to use a watch winder if you want to keep this specific model, specific timepiece on time. Overall, you're not going to be able to put it down on Friday night and pick it back up on Monday morning to go work, but you will be able to leave it 1 day at least at home without worrying about the power reserve. How about water resistance? How wet can you get? As you can see over here, it has a water resistance of 5 ATM, 5 bar. And what that means is usually that you can basically wash your hands and have casual splashes. That is mainly for 30 bar of 3 ATM, but 5, you could potentially submerge this watch and take a shower with it. But since there's no screw down crown over here, I would not risk it. I would not go in the water with this watch. I mean, it's a beautiful timepiece. Just keep it out of the water. You can use some water to clean it if necessary, but I would not do more than that. The thing with taking showers is that it is warm and there is pressure that can go on the watch and bit by bit wear down the gaskets. So the fact of having no screw down crown makes it unsuitable, in my opinion, to go in water. Anything above 10 bar is okay, but anything under 10 bar should be avoided. So what is my conclusion about this beautiful Delta watch? I think it is a conversation starter for sure, a head turner, and it will bring something more to the table than any other regular traditional watch. That's for sure. If you don't want to miss any of my future content and you did like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and I see you very soon. Take care. Cheers.